Welcome to Q&A session for the film Objector by Molly Stewart. A protagonist of the film, Atalya Ben Abba, is with us today. I wish you a virtual welcome to our festival.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for this story of yours. It is actually truly empowering. How was it for you to tell your story through this film?
It was a very interesting experience because, I don't know, film is always different than real life. And I think seeing my story through someone else's eyes was very interesting and like a very special experience. And me and Molly, the director, we have a very close relationship and I really trust her. So I think for me, giving her my story was something that I did very wholeheartedly.
How did you guys actually meet so you come up to idea to make this film?
So Molly knew my brother for a very long time, and my brother was also involved with the production of the film, and that was also very meaningful, making this film with my brother. So together they talked about making this film, and in the beginning it was a short film, but then after it got very good reviews, she won a grant to make it a full-length film.
Oh, that's great. Film have perfectly transferred this feeling of pressure for young people in Israel to be part of an army. How was it growing up for you in that environment? On what did you ground your reasons to object?
So in Israel, I think since you're very young, they teach you that when you grow up, you're going to become a soldier, and that's how you need to serve your community. And that's like your duty. But for me, especially growing up in Jerusalem, I saw that things I was being taught in school aren't really the reality around me. And through my brother, I learned a lot about the fact that Israel is an apartheid state and is enacting a cruel occupation of millions of Palestinians. And I just realized that I couldn't take part of that, and I had to do whatever I can to talk against it and to act against it.
When did you start to talk against it publicly? Because you're very young, you're 22, so when that started? So
when I was 18, I did like this year of, it's like a leap year you do after you finish high school and before you're supposed to enlist to the military. And I was living in a commune with 16 other young people my age, and we were doing educational work with teenagers. And we were supposed to go to the military together and to like some certain units that we would go to together. But through actually talking a lot about it and learning a lot about this like special units that are supposed to be more like socially aware units, and like this whole idea of we can change the system from within and make it less violent and less cruel, I realized that that is actually impossible. And that if I want to create change in my community and in my society, then I have to publicly speak against the occupation and not take part in the military.
Do you think that objecting to army and transferring the objection to other people can make a substantial change for the Palestinians? Or is it, let's call it, a matter of personal growth for you and your colleagues, of course?
I think it can, because in Israel, being an objector is like being a traitor. It's like a very unusual thing to do, and it's not something that people just gloss over. It creates communication, and it creates discussion that people don't really have. I think in Israel, people aren't aware of the occupation. It's crazy. It's like there's this big wall and people don't know what's going on behind it. So being an objector gives me this platform to speak out about something that people just don't talk about. And also, with having connection with Palestinian activists and trying to really have this struggle together with solidarity, I think it's really important that I show that I am not a part of the oppressive system as much as I can be.
Yeah. How does it feel for you to be a different voice, an objector in a country like Israel, especially as a woman? I mean, truly
easy.
feel, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry?
It's not easy, I think.
Oh, yeah,
We're very much outcasts. But I have a very close community of friends, and that a lot of them are also objectors, and they objected in different ways, and we do a lot of our activism together. And for me, that is very, very meaningful to have people with me that fight the same fight that I fight. And it helps me feel that we have a lot of hope to actually manage to change the things we want to change. Yeah, but I think especially as a woman, it's very meaningful that we stand up and speak up and say what we believe. And we, like, being a woman that is unafraid to speak her mind is still not something that we can gloss over in our society. Yeah, I think it's, and also the military is a very patriarchal system. The whole hierarchy of power inside the military is oppressive towards women and towards people in general. So as a feminist, speaking out against this patriarchal, hierarchical system is important.
Yes, I congratulate you on that. Was it hard for you to balance and convince your family, especially your grandfather, to be in the film?
I think he was afraid that we'll show him in a way that isn't favorable, that we'll like edit him in a way that won't really show well what he believes in. But after seeing the film, he felt that we showed him truthfully and honestly. And yeah, it's just, I think it's important whenever you put family members into the film, then it also creates changes in your relationship. I think, especially with my mother, like going through this journey together really changed our relationship to the better.
Yeah, I think that that change can be also seen a little bit in the film. So there were protesters on the streets of Balfour in last months. Can you tell us what is the situation in Israel at the moment and how do you see it emerging from now on? Were you there?
Yeah, I'm a part of a group of drummers. You could see the drum behind me. It's called the Samba. It's an international group. It's also called Rhythm of Resistance. And it's a group of drummers that drum together certain groups in demonstration. So we go every week to the demonstrations in Balfour, and those are demonstrations that are very big and very general. And so like the general statement of these demonstrations is that Benjamin Netanyahu should step off his role as prime minister, and because of all this corruption allegation against him and the fact that he has been abusing his power, that he should not be prime minister anymore. But for us, we have like a group of activists who decided that we want to come together to these very big demonstrations and speak out for other problems and talk about the occupation and talk about police brutality and about Palestinian rights. So these demonstrations have a lot of different messages in them and a lot of different groups that are all joining together to speak about changing our society and creating something better something that is equal and safe. But
Yeah.
there has been a lot of police brutality against the demonstrators.
Do you think that you will succeed, that Netanyahu will stop being the prime minister?
I don't know. It's very hard to say. I think right now he holds a lot of power, and there are also a lot of people who are supporting him and are voting for him. I don't know. I think we have to be hopeful. Otherwise, it's hard to keep going.
Yeah, I know.
But I don't know.
We will hope with you, and I congratulate you on everything and for you being so brave. Thank you for this film, and thank you so much for being with us, even this virtually. We're very grateful that you were here.